Today we'll be performing some very basic maintenance on the 2017 Yamaha FZ-07. Oil change, chain lube, that's it. Here's all the stuff you'll need in no specific order. A stand to get the motorcycle upright, gaskets for the drain plug. So I have a couple different versions. One's a generic and these are actually Toyota ones. We'll see which one I want to roll with here. I'm using a genuine Yamaha oil filter. Here's the part number if you're curious. And some good old Yamaha lube. You'll need a drain pan for the waste oil. You'll need a torque wrench to torque everything in spec. 17-inch socket and a ratchet. And then your typical rags and gloves. For the chain, just get your favorite chain lube and a brush to get the old gunk off. Step 1, warm up the bike. Step 2, get the bike up on the stand. Next, open the oil filler cap to relieve vacuum when you're draining the oil. But first, put on your gloves. Next, wipe off all the dirt around the oil filler cap so nothing falls in when you do open it. Now you can go ahead and open it. Also, inspect the O-ring in here to make sure that's not damaged. Put that someplace clean. I'm gonna wipe off the filler neck here. Now go ahead and grab your 17mm socket, ratchet, and break loose the drain bolt and the oil filter. The oil filter that's currently on the bike is a K&N, which has this nice nut, makes it very easy to remove. If you don't have that, try to do it by hand or get an oil filter wrench. Be careful, the bike is hot because you just warmed it up. Go ahead and place your drain pan. Finish removing the drain bolt. Let that drain for a while, and we'll proceed to opening the oil filter. Incidentally, the oil change intervals, according to the service manual, are every 6,000 miles, and the filters to be replaced every other oil change or every 12,000 miles. I have about 2,500 miles on the bike, and I'm doing this more for time than for mileage. It's been about a year since my last oil change. You can tell I don't ride a ton, just commute to work a little bit. I'm gonna replace the oil filter with every oil change, regardless of what the service manual says. I'm gonna continue to let that drip for a little bit before I take off the oil filter. The oil filter still appears to be relatively clean and in good shape. So I'm not going to discard it just yet until I make sure that the new one fits perfectly. Allow that to drip for maybe 10 minutes until it stops. While that's dripping, let's go ahead and prepare the drain bolt with a brand new gasket. So we'll take the old one off. This should be changed every time that you change the oil. It's called a crushed gasket for a reason, because it's crushed. Here's a brand new one. We'll set that aside until it's ready to go back in. Okay, while the oil's still dripping out slowly, we could go ahead and prep the new oil filter. Let's compare them side by side. There's actually directions on here. It says apply oil lightly to the gasket before installation. Tighten torque is 15 to 20 Newton meters. And then step 3 is run engine for 3 minutes and check for oil leaks. So let's apply some brand new oil to the O gasket here. It actually looks like it's lubricated with grease. I'm actually gonna grab another jug that I had from the prior oil change. This is partially used, so got a little bit less than 2 quarts left. We'll start with this one. Put some oil on your finger. And then go ahead and lubricate the O-ring. That's all you need, just so it sits nice and tight against the mating surface and doesn't bunch up when you're torquing down the oil filter. I'm also gonna put just a splash of oil in here to help dry startup. I can't put too much because the filter obviously goes on horizontally. Back onto the bike, let's prepare the oil filter installation area for the brand new filter. Take a clean rag and wipe off all the mating surface areas. Take your new oil filter and you can go ahead and start screwing that on. Torque spec is actually 12 foot-pounds. With the K&N oil filter, you could do that by putting a torque wrench on the nut that's on the end, but no such luck with the OEM filter here. So we'll have to estimate. And that 12 foot-pounds is basically hand tight. Be careful not to crush the casing. The oil is now slow to a very occasional drip. So I'll go ahead and reinstall the drain plug. The torque for the drain bolt is 31 foot-pounds. The oil capacity is 2.75 or 2 3/4 US quarts. You could see them right between the lines on the sight glass. So we'll start the bike, let it run for a little bit, stop it, and then recheck the oil. I've moved the motorcycle outside so we could do both things. Start up and check for oil leaks, as well as lube the chain without spraying all over my garage floor. oil leaks noted, but I will wipe off around the oil filter just to make sure no dirt sticks onto the oil we had put on the gasket. While down here, we'll also note the level of the coolant, which is between the two lines for the full and empty, so that's perfect. Okay, I've given the oil a couple minutes to drain down, and the sight glass is empty. There's just a little bit of oil at the very bottom there, so you can tell it's underfilled. I'm gonna go ahead and top off. That looks much better. Now onto the chain. My process involves starting the bike, putting in gear, and then lubing it that way. I caution against doing it this way because you could very easily get your fingers caught in the chain and the sprocket, and that will not be pretty. So this is for entertainment purposes only. Inspecting the chain to make sure it's clean. See that the chain is now satisfactorily clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray my lube now. Alright, I hope you found that useful, or at least entertaining. Thanks for watching. Now it's cleanup time.